We had no idea what was data warehousing. So it was in our early stages of IT Trailblaze. I'm talking in our infant stages, right? We were just starting to do things. It's okay for us to be like that when we are a 2-year-old or 3-year-old company, but it's not okay when we are a 15-year-old company. We go to our clients and say, hey, we know what we are doing, which means everybody in the company knows what they are doing. So the first ingredient of being absolutely sure that we are submitting a great resume that will get us a closure, right? That will get us 5 closures a month is technical understanding. And just like I said earlier, it doesn't mean that we have to become programmers, but if you dig deep, then you will have adequate knowledge that will help you understand requirements much better than what understanding you may have now. Don't jump in till you really, really understand what is required, do some research. Then it becomes part of how you work. How do you work? You work by, first of all, understanding a requirement. And then only you can get the speed. You can't get the speed by constantly working on requirements without understanding, because it just goes in circles. Of course, we need to do a great job of sourcing. Sourcing is an art. It's usually not a science. That's why all of you will not produce at the same level, because it's a talent. You need to be proud. It's like A.R. Rahman's music, right? You can't describe it. Not everybody can become A.R. Rahman, because it is a combination of factors that makes you a great recruiter. So you need to really work at, how do I know how to source, first of all? Forget about submitting resume, right? You need to become very talented in sourcing. Let me tell you, it's not a simple job. For some of you, it may be just putting some keywords and getting some hot lists and sending some mass mail. That's not sourcing. Sourcing is where you are doing such a great job that you're able to find the candidates who are really, really a fit for the position. That requires some talent, but it'll come. It'll come. We can provide job diva and databases and all that. Nothing will make you a great sourcer. It's an essential building block. So however senior you are in the company, it doesn't matter. You need to be a damn good sourcer. That's very important. Even today, I can jump into job diva and I can source. That's if I don't know how to do that, I can't grow up in the organization at all. It's very, very important. Yes, we need to do a great job of sourcing. We need subject matter expert collaboration. When I say subject matter expert, we process H1s for so many technical people from in India who we bring to America. We place hundreds of consultants, both in India and in America. And with all this pool, we can hire people. Using all these, we should be able to always have somebody to talk to understand a requirement, to ask a question, or to do a tech check, or whatever. So everybody has to figure it out. It's not, I keep telling people, it's not enough if I figure it out, because I cannot execute on your behalf, right? And when everybody can execute to that vision, that is when it really becomes powerful, okay? So subject matter expert is important to develop understanding. You should always have a few technical people to talk to. And many times I used to talk to technical people who are not even employees. Any candidate I call to interview, I used to ask him doubts. Hey, this client says they want this swing. What is it, right? I used to ask questions. So that's how I learned when I was doing recruiting. So nothing wrong in asking for help. People are willing to help, I can tell you that. Another essential ingredient to be absolutely sure that you have a great resume that is going to give you a closure is the quality of conversation you are having with the candidate. You meaning not just you recruiter, it means the recruiter, it means the leads, it means the managers, it doesn't matter who it is, everybody. But the most important person in this is the recruiter, because the recruiter is the one who needs to have a really good quality conversation with the candidate. It's like Toyota. The Toyota car runs beautifully, right? It's not because the Toyota president is any kind of a whiz, but it is the production worker who is manufacturing your tires and your wheels and your camshafts who is making it in such a precise manner that when you dump it in the car works beautifully, right? Without that, the salesman can jump up and down. Doesn't matter. He can't sell a single car because it won't move. And in the recruiting business, it's like that. You need to produce a great resume. Of course, there are some people who say, it's okay, give me a Maruti. Or some people say, give me just a two-wheeler or cycle. So there are situations where clients may just need a body. We need to be aware of it. But in general, all these people that we place are knowledge workers, right? What are knowledge workers? Client is, and we are in the contracting business for the most part. And so from day one, the client wants somebody. And if we can consistently produce a Toyota, we will always find a client. They will come to us. They have come to us mainly because we were, in our earlier stages, confidently producing Toyotas, to the extent that on the Visteon account, they never did any interview. We used to get closures in 10 minutes. You can ask Pradi, you can ask Kannan. We used to submit resume to a guy called Jim Tarpey. He believed us so much that, oh, you guys sent the resume, when can you start? That's all. It's amazing how much clients will give you traction the minute we figure this out. So at the base foundation level, right, you guys need to be ensuring that you have a quality of conversation with the candidate that you assure yourself that, oh, you know what, I got a great candidate. Before having that quality of candidate conversation, you should not submit the resume to anybody. You should not ask for any document verification, like send me your H-1B copy or green card copy or whatever. All those are clerical and administrative work. It's not going to ensure that you're going to get a closure. What's going to ensure is the quality of conversation. How can you have a great quality of conversation with the candidate? There are 10 different things you need to do. You need to have great English. You need to have great general knowledge. You need to have great speaking ability. You should know how to talk to a candidate, if necessary, for 20 minutes. Minimum 20 minutes of discussion with the candidate should be there, minimum. You should develop the rapport, multiple calls, multiple discussions. You should unearth the wants and needs of the candidate. A candidate, I'm interested in your welfare. What are your wants? What are your needs? Many candidates call me and tell me, what, your recruiter is not interested in talking to me, simply wants to get my rate and submit the resume. And first thing your recruiters ask is, where is my H-1B copy, or where is my green card copy? I kept telling them that I want to work locally. They kept pushing me to submit my resume for some position that's not local, whatever. We need to have the quality of conversation with the candidate that ensures that our submissions are in line with what the candidate wants and what the candidate needs, right? Both are important for us to keep in mind. If not, when all those stars don't align, we are not going to get closures. That's the essence of it. And if we are not going to get closures, it's okay, don't submit the resume. I would say, even if you don't submit a single resume in a day, if you assure yourself that you have done your best to submit a resume that's going to get a closure, that is what's more important. Chris will push you for submissions. He'll say, I need 5 submissions a day. Rather, I will say, I need 5 submissions a day. Chris may push for only 2 or 3. But that is 5 resumes or 1 candidate submit to 5 positions that is going to get us a closure. If not, that number is useless. You submitting 3 or 5 resumes is completely worthless if none of those cars are going to run on the road, right? That's very important. So it's okay. For a few days, if you don't submit a single resume, it's okay if you're figuring it out, right? You need to figure it out. But once you figure it out, right, you need to get 3 or 4 closures will come automatically if these things are in place. It will happen. I can assure you that. Because it's been done. It's been done by many people, and people like me and Meera and Vidya, we have seen it happen. So quality of conversation, 15 to 20 minutes minimum or more, right? You need to develop the ability to have a quality of conversation. That's very important. And that ability means a lot of different things. You need to work on your American accent, your speaking capability, and all kinds of technical knowledge. If you have technical knowledge, the kind of conversation you have with the candidate is very different, right? So all those are important to develop the ability to have a quality conversation. You need to have the ability to discuss technical experience and ask technical questions. That is where the subject matter expert comes into picture, and that's where your own learning and reading comes into picture. It may take you half an hour to figure out what is the questions I'm going to ask this candidate that will assure me the candidate is good, but it'll be worthwhile. You will see very soon which of your candidates is good, which of your candidates is bad. And the company also will provide a lot of help in the subject matter expertise that is required. Do tech check external. When you do that, tech check, you're going to learn deeply also. Other than that, another essential ingredient is phone volume. I'm sure your managers are beating you up on call volume. They are doing metrics on call volume. Hey, you made only 20 calls, you made only 10 calls, you need to make 50 calls, 60 calls. It is necessary to measure something. If not, you cannot manage it. And I have told many of you about the concept of weight loss. If you want to lose weight, you check your weight every day, and you will see what your weight is. And you'll see what are the factors contributing to my weight gain, what are the factors contributing to my weight loss, and you are managing that. So what you don't measure, you don't manage. You need to measure your call volume as one of the things. There are many things you need to measure. But you can stop measuring. If you're slim, you're not going to keep checking your weight, right? So similarly, if you are making so many calls that your ears are aching, you can stop measuring that. I never measured because I was always on the phone. And if you're always on the phone, you can stop measuring too. And you will automatically see that the numbers will show up. You don't need to worry about measuring it. But it needs to become part of the way you operate. And if you don't have that essential ingredient, you should know that this job is not for you. You should realize that. If you hesitate to constantly call and talk to people, and if you hesitate to have great conversations, then this job is not for you. And that's one thing you should recognize, that you may not be a fit for the job, but the job may not be a fit for you. Everyone is talented. There is nobody who is not talented, but your talents might lie elsewhere and not in becoming an ace recruiter, which is what we need in IT Trailblazers. We need ace recruiters. If you're an ace recruiter, you should be making top-notch money, and there should not be any reason for you to leave the company. You should have fantastic growth opportunities, and all that will come with the ability to make phone calls. And those of you who have watched The Wolf of Wall Street, you will also appreciate the value of phone calls. That's the essence of our. You might ask, why? Why is phone calls important? I call to understand the requirement. I call to interview candidates. I call to get references. I call to follow up on submissions. I call. Everything is a phone call in our business, right? Probably back in the days when there was no phone, this business was done differently. But today, it's the phone call is the essential medium of communication. So if we have to measure and figure out if you are making phone calls, you're not fit for the job. It's very important for you to recognize that. It's a very, very important. But yes, we can stop measuring once you have accomplished the objective and you realize, oh, if I make more phone calls, not just phone calls, blind phone calls, right? You are making a phone call for a purpose, right? You are unearthing candidates who are not yet on the job market. You are calling to get references. You're calling a resume that was in the database 2 years ago. Oh, this guy is 2 years ago in the database. Let me not call him. No, there is value in calling somebody who was in the database more than 2 years ago. That person can offer help. References may be available. You never know. And that's a resume that won't be. You need to sell. We call to sell also the company, the opportunity, and those are all skills that you need to learn. So call volume is very, very, very important. You need to be always on the phone. Call time is also more important. We are measuring this, and I feel ashamed, literally, that we need to measure all this because it's essential. It's essential to the job. Just like a Toyota worker who is on the shop floor, need to work his machines to produce, right? We need to work our phones. It's very important.